I don't think I've ever had a thought about, let's do some research on Hawkeye. I'm sorry.
It's the only book people really talk about.
This is what you're in.
That's Cliff Barton.
Thank you.
It's his name, right? Cliff Barton.
Clint.
Oh, Clint. Clint Barton.
Yeah, I was like, Cliff.
I was like, why is that?
I was like, I don't think that's his name.
I think it was Cliff.
That doesn't sound right.
I'm thinking of a Cliff Bar.
You know, I was thinking the same thing when you said
Yeah, Cliff
Bar. Cliff Bar.
Cliff Barton.
Yeah.
Why do you
What's up, Caesar?
You like being here? You having a good day today?
Yeah, I'm having a good day, bro.
How'd you sleep last night? Tell us about that.
Is this therapy? Like, what the
I
fuck?
just want to know.
I said okay.
No dreams?
No fucking dreams.
You already said that.
Why not? You know, it's crazy. One time when I was like in probably like 6th grade, when Lil T was in elementary, he was telling me one time that he lucid dreams, right? And I didn't really hear about this before. Then he was like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "Sometimes I lucid dream." He's like, "I'm in SpongeBob and I'm getting Sandy." He was like, "I'm getting Sandy from the back."
Okay.
He was like, "I'll be clapping her cheeks." I was like, "Bro, what?"
Bro,
We know he was lying too.
I know,
He did not be doing that.
he's just a freak, bro.
Obviously.
And everybody, why would you want to do that to Sandy Cheeks?
Who was
Who
your
else?
option? Fucking weirdos.
Miss Puff.
Alright.
Let's get into it then.
Let's get into it.
Alright. Well, hello everyone. This is our working title, episode 4, right?
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to our working title.
Today we're doing Fantastic Mr. Fox. We're going back to an older movie. The last two ones we did were new releases. This is a 2009 stop-motion animated film, written and directed by Wes Anderson, one of my favorite filmmakers. And I think this is the first movie that I saw from Wes Anderson. I'm pretty sure. It was either this or Grand Budapest Hotel. But the reason why we're doing this movie is because we're trying to do all of our favorite movies. And so this happens to be my pick. I think it's... Wait, what the fuck are you laughing at?
I was thinking it's gonna be hilarious when we have to go down the line and be like, and then and Jacob's not here.
And I'm Jacob.
We don't even know if Caesar's gonna do his favorite.
What?
It still works, but
No, you know,
I was just thinking about like
That's the whole point that we're doing it, though, right? This is our favorite movie.
It is,
This
it is.
episode, we're doing my favorite.
Yeah,
movie,
it is.
Fox.
I was just thinking about Caesar's here. We don't know if Caesar's gonna do his favorite movie.
Damn, bro, you just fucked up my whole flow.
Look, get back into it. It's your favorite movie.
Anyways, I saw this movie for the first time a couple years ago.
Why are you laughing?
Now you're just,
Not looking
now
at
you
this
just be an asshole.
I just looked at Caesar and I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
What, his fucking face? Bro.
Okay, go.
Anyways, this is one of my favorite films. I don't even know what like, you nearly fucked up
You
everything.
ruined everything, bro.
You fucked it up, bro.
I'm just in
But
the
you're
giggles,
fucking
man.
jokey joke.
I'm in the giggles, man.
Alright. God. Damn, bro. Get this shit.
Go on, giggle monster.
I'm not the one giggling.
Go. You're good.
Okay. So, I saw this film. Dude, why are you fucking laughing? I hear he laughs too. Bro, shut the fuck up.
I see your fucking video.
I hear you. You can't fucking control yourself.
I just thought it was funny, alright? I just think it's funny as all.
Yeah, watch one of your guys' fucking favorite movie. Fucking shit on your whole existence.
Go ahead, man.
Anyways, where do we even start from at this point?
Your favorite movie.
Okay, this is one of my favorite movies. The first time I saw it, I thought it was really good, but it didn't necessarily hit me in the way that it would later on. It's one of those films where like I just kept rewatching it over and over and over again, and yeah, that's why it's one of my favorite films. We'll get more into it. But yeah, my name is Ignacio.
I'm Luis.
I'm Kobe.
I'm Jacob.
He actually fucking did. Oh my god. Yeah, but let's just get into kind of our overall general thoughts about the film. This is kind of a rewatch for everybody. This is nobody's first time seeing the movie, so I just kind of want to get everyone's initial kind of feelings in the film, maybe even like prior to going in, and then kind of like how it changed. Like, how would you guys say it's kind of changed for you?
I love this movie, man. This movie's great. I remember when I first watched it. No, I don't exactly remember when I first watched it, but I remember watching it and telling all my family to watch it. Just because I feel like it's so easy to put on for, like, anybody could watch it. It's just like one of those movies where it's like adults can watch it and it's fun for them, and like little kids can watch it and it's fun for them too. I love this movie, man. I don't even remember the first time I watched it, though, to be honest with you.
You watched it a long time ago, or was it recent?
No, I watched it recently, probably like
Oh, okay.
a year ago. Like, was my first time.
Yeah, I think me too. I think the first time I saw it was last year.
But I don't know what dragged me. I don't know if it was Ignacio that maybe told me about it, or if it was just me watching. It might have been me just watching Wes Anderson movies, low-key. Because I remember watching Grand Budapest, and I was like, the movie's really good. So then I just kind of started watching a little bit of Wes Anderson movies. Not all of them, but this was one of them that I watched. But yeah,
That's cool.
you,
Yeah, I really love this movie, but like something holds me back from feeling like in love with it. Like I think it's an amazing movie overall, and honestly I don't really have complaints with it. It's just something there doesn't click with me like it does with you. I think but I mean I think it's an amazing movie. I love watching it. I mean I really have no complaints. I mean I have one little question, but even then I will get into that too. But I really do love the movie, but I just don't feel in love with it like how I think both of you do, honestly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Hey.
What the fuck? I still said I love the movie.
What about you, Caesar?
I think I have to go with Kobe on this one. I watched it recently too, like for the first time. I think it was 2 years ago. That's not super recent, but
Yeah.
I think that's also my first Wes Anderson film too. At least from what I can remember, I think it was a really fun movie overall. But I don't think anything really like attracted me like how it does with you guys. Like I don't think it's a favorite of mine. It's probably a good film, and like I said, when it comes to stuff like this with movies, especially like the topic of movies with you guys, it's like I'm barely getting into it, so I feel like my opinion to critique a film isn't really there yet. You know, I can't really do that yet. So that's just how I feel about it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. We kind of have like a little divide here.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's why we have the couch, huh?
Yeah, pretty
We love
much.
this movie.
Yeah.
You guys are going on the floor next episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this movie wasn't always kind of loved. I mean, it was like a complete flop when it came out. Unfortunately, it was. I forgot the budget and the box office ratio or whatever, but I know the movie did horribly.
Did it really?
Yeah, the movie was kind of a bomb.
Why?
I think a lot of Wes Anderson movies.
His movies don't really make that much money, but this was kind of like this is definitely gonna make money, an animated movie. But stop motion at this time really wasn't doing super well. I mean, I don't know if Coraline did that well this year, because I think they came out the same year. Of course, Coraline is like now like a classic, but even then, like you would expect it to have made a bigger impact upon its release. And it's the same with Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's a film where a lot of film fans kind of love it, but the general audiences kind of didn't really gravitate towards it. And I can see why. It's not it's a Wes Anderson movie, like at the heart. It's not kind of Disney animated film that's like regulated or anything. I mean, there's nothing in the film that feels like out of place or studio mandated. Everything feels like from the heart.
Dude,
I think that's why it's so great.
I don't know, man. I fucking love this movie, and like if I were to show somebody this movie and they didn't like it, I wouldn't understand. Like, this movie's fucking
I would
great.
agree with that. Yeah, I couldn't see disliking this movie.
And it's like everybody can watch it. You know what I mean? Like, this is the best Thanksgiving movie.
I agree.
There's not many Thanksgiving
I agree.
movies.
There's not a lot, to be honest.
But this one's the best.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
You know what's funny is I was thinking about that. I was like, damn, this is like the best Thanksgiving movie while I was watching it. Like, let me see when it came out. And it was like November 13th. I was like, all right, I'm going to use this. Because it's November 13th.
Yeah,
and then Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. You got it.
Yeah, I mean, like the palette, just how the film like it looks color wise.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like completely there. The music I think is there.
Mhm.
Even the weather, like throughout the entire film, is
Mhm.
like it's just there.
Then they have like that feast too.
Yeah, that's
Very
that's the feast
Thanksgiving.
sequence as well. As far as like just a little kind of plot summary we can go into, the film's about Mr. Fox, and he pretty much is with his I think girlfriend at the time, and they get into a life or death situation, and in that situation, Mr. Fox basically has to come to terms with himself, a part of himself that he has to change, and then it leads into the future a few years later where he kind of has to face the same problem again. And in that adventure, he kind of encounters all types of different kind of crazy characters, and then he has his own family at that point, who he has like kind of interesting relationships with. And yeah, the film is basically, I mean, they're all, even though there's humans in the movie, the animals themselves are pretty much human.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Like the animals and humans like understand each other, which is super weird. When I watched it for the first time, I don't know if that really worked for me, because I mean I can't think of many films where that's the case.
Yeah.
Like humans and animals just completely
Like-
understand each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is there anything else that you guys want to get into?
I was just gonna say, I think my first Wes Anderson movie was Isle of Dogs in theaters, and I remember loving that movie when I walked out. So I've only seen it that one time, but I would like to revisit it because I think I would like that movie more than I like this movie, and I feel like that's pretty opposite from most people's opinions.
Yeah, and those are his two animated movies, and I haven't
Yeah.
seen Isle of Dogs.
Yeah,
So.
I really want to rewatch it honestly.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
where
it.
I really need
I
to
first
see
saw
it.
it. Yeah.
You know, with this movie being so playful and kind of fun and like kind of like easy for people to kind of just throw in and watch, it's so heavy with its I guess with some of its messages. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And how you were talking about how like the humans and the animals kind of understand each other, and I think that's kind of like wouldn't they kind of, I don't really know how to put it into words, but isn't that kind of the point? Because like it's like Mr. Fox, he's kind of like he's kind of going through a crisis himself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
As a human kind of would when he's kind of close to death. Like
Midlife crisis kind of.
early on in the movie, you know, when he's living in the house and he's talking about he says that like he's tired of being poor.
In the hole.
Yeah, and that like he's 7 non-Fox years old.
Yeah.
And his dad died at 7.5.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, he's close to death.
Mhm.
You know, so it's like he's going through this crisis. It's like I feel like anybody kind of would once they kind of get closer. As they get older, you start to realize your mortality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember seeing someone say that like the animals are more human than humans in the movie.
Yeah.
So I think that's like very apparent.
Yeah. Very interesting movie.
It is.
Yeah, that was something that like on this watch specifically, like towards the end of the movie, I was really trying to see something, because that's kind of like the one element where like I don't really know what is trying to be portrayed.
Yeah.
Are the humans in the movie?
Mm.
Especially like towards the end when, well, just towards the climax of the film, and we'll get into like the spoilers later, but you kind of see more of the human, not just the villains in the movie, but kind of the whole community of humans, and just kind of how they are acting in comparison to the animals. And I was just kind of like not sure what to pin down there, because there's something like, there's definitely a contrast between how the animals are versus how the humans are in their communities. Definitely some similarities and some key differences. And I think there's definitely something there that it's trying to say about. I forgot which one of you guys just said right now, but that the animals are more human than the humans.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's definitely something that I can understand, especially when, in terms of them coming to like terms with their own mortality, because that's something that happens so many times throughout the movie,
Yeah.
where they're pretty much all almost gonna die.
Yeah,
And
on the run the whole time.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely really interesting.
that's so funny considering it's kind of like it's a heist movie, and then like literally the whole like I just realizing this right now that like he does these heists early on in the movie where he's stealing chicken and fucking apple cider and the bullshit. And literally like it's like a fucking like if he was a bank robber, like he's on the run, like looking over his shoulder the whole time. Like that just hit me right now.
Yeah.
Like he's on the run like from police or something,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Police are the human.
I think that's kind of funny
Yeah,
actually. Like I'm just realizing that.
Yeah, there's a funny moment where they're making like the blueberries to tranquilize the dog.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the blueberry that he shoots is so big.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
dude.
It's literally, it's like the size of the beagle's paw. It doesn't even make sense. It's like, how the fuck is that blueberry so big? And I've never understood that. Every time I watch the movie, I'm like, why is it so big?
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny, I guess.
But aren't they like tiny as hell compared to the humans too?
Like sometimes,
they're
sometimes
still
they're kind of big.
No, they're kind of big. I mean, on like one hand, it's like okay, that could just easily be like a mistake, like because with stop motion, like they use like different sizes of models.
Yeah.
But it also could just be like something where it's just funny because it's like a big ass blueberry.
Yeah. I noticed that shit too though when he fucking the first heist when he spits it over the fence. I was like, God damn, that thing's like the size of a fucking grenade.
It's like a fucking volleyball, yeah.
It's like his fucking hydro flask. Remember the fucking nuke that he used to carry? That's the blueberry, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I fucking love this
64 ounces.
Yeah, 64 ounces, yeah. Half a gallon.
God damn, dude, that's crazy.
I used to kill those at my old job.
Carrying a water tank.
Oh god, I should probably get one of those.
Yeah, dude, that sounds funny.
Before you do this, should probably keep me alive for like a whole week, man. Just one of those, just one serving.
Something that I think when I first watched, I was like, what? Like, what is when they stand in the word cuss when they're cussing?
Yeah.
It's just like such a playful way for Wes Anderson to like get around.
Like include it.
It's so funny,
cursing. And like the first scene when it's him and Badger.
Yeah. He's like, are you cussing with me?
Yeah. When he's trying to buy his house, and they're just like kind of going
like circling around.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw it, I was like, that is so funny, man. Like, I love that so much. And it's kind of the first moment where we see them acting in a explicitly animalistic way. Not the first moment that you see where they're kind of just doing it more in an underscore way, but in a way where it's like so clearly like they're acting like animals, and then the clerk or whoever has to like kind of like ding the bell, and then like get so like, all right, let's compose ourselves here. And that's kind of like recurring throughout the movie. Definitely, probably the biggest standout to me, and I think we'll get into it later on because there's like a key scene that kind of is the example of what I'm talking about, but the whole film like are these animals who pretty much trying to act like humans, who are trying to like go against, in a way, they're trying to go against their nature and what they're not what they're made for, but
instincts.
What their instincts, exactly. And at the end, like at the end of the day, like they're just animals. They're wild animals.
Wild animals. You know, that's what I was gonna ask. Like we're talking about how like the animals are more human in the than the human characters, but like they make it apparent. Well, Mr. Fox makes it apparent that like they're wild animals. So like what is the kind of like what do you guys get from that? As when we're watching it, we see them as humans, but he sees themselves as wild animals.
I don't know, man. You know, I was thinking about it, but I don't even know if we could use that. It was just like a thought that I had. I was maybe it's like a societal thing, because I mean, like I don't know if you believe in like evolution and shit, that we're kind of like animals at one point, but now we're civilized. You know what I mean? And it's like we're just civilized because of the society that we live in. Like those are just the norms that we kind of have to like fall into. But I don't know how you would like I would use that and apply that to the film either. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I feel like maybe there's something there. Maybe maybe it's a stretch. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think for me, like I was just saying, like the film, everyone's trying to go against their own instincts, kind of.
Yeah.
And there's there's so many examples of that. I mean, even when you just consider like when they're playing Whack-Bat, like they're playing this, and like Wes Anderson, like him as a filmmaker is so perfect for what I'm saying, because he's obviously known for being super wordy, and like his screenplay is just kind of like going like just so many words and like per second, and it's like you can't even like comprehend sometimes what he's saying because there's just so much. The dialogue is like kind of like a song where it's just like flowing and flowing and flowing, and it can be hard for people to interpret that. And like when they're playing Whack-Bat, for example, like he's just explaining this like ridiculous game.
There's 3 grabbers, 5 catchers,
4 swingers on this, and then you go there, and then divided by 9, and it's like, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
But like if you explain any sport to anybody in real life, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's just weird. It's almost like he's trying to like, it's almost like he's trying to portray human pretentiousness as like just kind of silly.
I think that scene is so funny with Owen Wilson as I don't even know what is he supposed to be?
Oh, man, I don't know what he is. Actually.
He's a coach, but what is he, like a?
Because he's white, right?
Polar bear? I don't know. Like a mini polar bear.
Yeah,
I don't know what he
makes
is.
sense, though.
But it's funny because when Ash gets mad at what's the girl's name? The one who's like in love with Christopherson.
I forgot her name.
It's either with an A or a Y or an L.
Yeah, it's oh my god, why is it coming to me?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not coming to me right now.
Oh,
his classmate.
I remember everyone's name except
Candice.
It might be Candice sounds kind of.
No. He says, Agnes.
Agnes.
That's her name.
So when he like goes up to Agnes because she has the K, and you get that scene, and he's like, he goes and he gets the drink. He's like, all right, everybody, look alive, and then he runs like fast as out of the frame. I think that scene is so goddamn funny, and just like I think it's cool too how fast he fucking runs. Like I just think it's cool.
Yeah, the animation of it.
Amazing stop motion work.
Yeah. Just like, are you serious? What did he say?
He's like, that is your father's nephew.
Not by blood. Like, oh my god, they shit on Ash so much in this movie, and it's like so good. Like it adds so much to his character. Like I could get a whole movie with Ash, just
literally,
because he's just so like there's so much there with him.
Bro, his like first scene is like him spitting on the floor in his house.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and even
the
his
wild animals.
Even his puppet is like so like dirty and like just
different.
It's just it's different, and it's just textured, and he has like obviously like his like makeup or whatever that he has. It's really interesting. Ash's character, especially like because I mean, the film is obviously like a family movie, and it's kind of trying to portray like a bunch of different. It's trying to portray family dynamics in like an accessible way, but also being unique in its own right. And Ash is just like one of those like kind of weird kids that I don't think it's portrayed properly enough in cinema, especially in kind of like mainstream American movies. Like obviously like I've heard a lot of talk about like Ash being like potentially queer or something like that, and I could definitely see it throughout the movie. Like they kind of like some people like bully him for being feminine, and he just he's just acting like different. I think it's purposely left kind of cryptic, just to because it should be something where it kind of like appeals to a wide array of people, because it's just kind of he is ultimately just different, and it could be different in whatever way.
No, so I was saying, what is the significance of him spitting on the ground? Because there's like, I feel like there's multiple scenes in the movie where he's like spitting. Like I mean, he opens up and he's like spitting on the ground. Like when you're first introduced to his character, that's kind of something that he says too. He's like, I'm different. I wear capes. I fucking spit on the ground, and like that's one of the things he says. And I don't get like this. Like, is it just I don't get why it's so.
I just kind of saw it as a character trait. Like,
he just spits on the ground.
Yeah, he's just kind of an asshole. Like with that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, everyone has like their trademark. That's like what they're trying
to
like
trademark.
And then even like later in the movie when Kylie wants his trademark because he doesn't have, and then Mr. Fox he doesn't say the truth. Opossums have Latin names.
Right.
And he's like, oh, you guys don't have Latin names. You
They
don't have
weren't in Rome.
You don't have anything to do. You're just available. And so, and then he has to make his own trademark because he wants one, I guess. So yeah, I think Ash is just kind of like that's just a trademark of his, kind of in a way.
And what about Kylie with the eyes, man? Like, what is that? Like,
That's a possum thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, because they like act dead. That's what he's doing.
Ah, makes sense.
They act dead.
Because that's what I was thinking too. Is like, I wonder if it's something like that opossums do, like. out
Yeah,
there in the
they
field,
get like
you know what I
scared
mean?
or whatever. Like if there's a predator,
Yeah.
they'll just act dead so that
Dude,
they
have
won't
you
go
guys
get
ever-
him.
Have you guys ever seen a possum before?
Funny enough, driving home
Yeah.
last night, there was a possum in someone's yard.
Bro, they're
They're
fucking
huge.
They're fucking disgusting looking, dude. One time I came home and I was hanging out with my girlfriend, and it was like she had her like lights on or whatever, and it was one just like big ass one chilling under my car, and he was just like, I was like, what the fuck? I brought my sister out. I was like, look at this shit, and she was trying to like poke it with the stick. I was like, fuck that, you get bit, not me. But it was just like looking at us. I was like, what the fuck? This thing is crazy.
Well, they don't
looking,
have
man.
sharp teeth, thankfully.
Yeah.
Couldn't even bite the chicken's neck.
That shit is so funny, man. He's like, it's so grisly. There's a bunch of blood everywhere.
That shit's funny when he's like, give me a signal so I know that you're understanding me. He's like, was that the signal?
Yeah.
And then he does it later.
At the end of the movie.
It's hilarious.
That shit's funny, man.
Yeah, I think also like him zoning out is like in a way just kind of like the human element of it is just kind of like cognitive dissonance, kind of portrayed in that way. Because I mean, even like
Anxiety
What do you
attack
mean
your
cognitive?
favorite.
see like
dissonance?
okay, well like even if you want to go there, it's like
Yeah.
well yeah, but it's like in a different kind of way.
Mhm.
What do you mean? What do you mean cognitive dissonance? Like he's dumb or what?
No, like he's just kind of like getting out of the moment.
You know, like you do that a lot. You just
Yeah, you bitch.
Just stop listening.
Like you're not interpreting like what you're doing, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
So
You
like
just
sometimes-
zone out.
Yeah, sometimes
You
you just
zone
like
out, yeah.
randomly because it's not always like in a moment of like life or death or something. Like
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
the first time he meets Mr. Fox, he
He
just
just
kind
does.
of
You just
Yeah.
zones out. That's funny.
zones out. Yeah.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah, that is funny. Should we get into spoilers now?
Yeah, I think we've pretty much touched on like the general.
General silliness.
Do you have anything you want to say, Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob, what's up?
Nothing at all.
Nothing. That's cool. Spoilers?
Well, fuck you then. Yeah, let's go to spoilers.
Man, there was something I was thinking of earlier. But I was gonna say, what do we think of like the scene with the wolf? What kind of
Oh,
scene-
I wanted to say that like for a little later.
Oh, later.
Yeah,
Okay.
'cause I think-
we'll work down the movie. I guess.
Yeah.
We'll work down the movie.
Canis lupus. I just think that shit is
Hocus
so funny.
pocus.
That shit is so funny, man.
Man, there was something else I wanted to bring up.
He's like, wolf, why do you keep talking about a wolf? Stop bringing that up.
Yeah.
He's like, there's this wolf one time.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one thing that like gets him out of character.
Yeah,
It gets him
yeah.
to not act in this like
Fantastic
super
way.
ridiculous,
Mm.
like fantastic way, which is I mean, it's definitely interesting. Like, I mean, fuck it, let's just talk about it now.
It's like
We're
it's
already
weird,
talking about it.
Yeah,
It's
we're already
weird.
talking about it.
Scared of the wolf, man.
I think we're all there. Like, you know, the wolf. I mean, the dogs also don't speak in the movie, which is like in like the chickens, I guess. But like, I don't really think those matter as much.
Yeah.
I think there's something of like intelligence. I mean, with the dogs, I think it's different, but like with the chickens and the
Right.
they're just dumb.
What are the
You know?
fucking other animals called? The
Fucking ducks. The ducks.
No, the ones a squab.
Squab.
Yeah, the squabs.
Oh.
Duck squab or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so like wolves are just like throughout the movie, like they just get him so rattled, and it's just kind of like, I mean, of course, like it's the natural predator of like a fox, right? So that makes sense, but for him specifically, who just seems like this invincible character, who just is
Yeah.
like so full of himself, for him to get like bent out of shape over just the acknowledgement of the word is kind of like interesting, and the seeds are planted throughout the movie. And then which yeah, so we get to the scene with the wolf, which, you know, this is the one scene that, I mean, it's my favorite. So it's simultaneously my favorite scene in the movie,
Yeah.
and also like the only scene that like kind of like makes me a little annoyed because he's, and for a stupid reason, it's because so they're escaping the Beans base or whatever, and they're like riding off into the sunset, and then Kylie's like, "Don't look behind." And then it doesn't make sense.
They look
because
up to the
they're
side.
looking to the side and they're not even there yet with the wolf. So it's like he says, "Don't look behind," and they look behind, and then they stop. How was he behind if the wolf was already right
they
there?
look off to the side.
I don't understand that, and I've tried to justify it in my head, like, okay, maybe it's like this, but I just don't understand. Why couldn't he just say, "Don't look"?
Don't look.
Yeah. And then they could have just like looked and stopped real quick.
It's totally just like an animation thing, though. You know, like it's just he said don't look behind, and then he happened to be off to the side. But yeah, little things like that fucking bother me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Again, it's not like something where it's like, oh, that really pisses me off.
No, definitely.
I mean,
not.
it's just something where it just like, oh my god, like they could have easily
fucking itches your brain.
Yeah, they could have literally just said something else instead. But yeah, that scene is just it really gets to me every single time I watch this movie because they stop the motorbike and then they see the wolf from a distance, and yeah, he's like the only animal one of the only animals, but really the only animal that they interact with in a way that's not like in a way that where they fear the animal, and not just because like it's a dog with rabies or something, but in a more interesting way, and they just kind of like are at a stop and kind of facing off one another, and yeah, that's the scene where like Mr. Fox is like coming to terms with his own nature, because he's this wacky character who has like, it seems like he has it all made for himself, right? Like as a man in a way.
It's like a Sigma male.
Yeah, where he just like if you asked him like what could be done better by yourself, he'd be like, I'm perfect, you know. And he's changed a lot about his animal nature, and in a way he's been like forced to because of his wife and because of his family.
Yeah,
he can't do what he ultimately should be doing, what he's been kind of what nature has kind of made out for him.
What a crazy human experience. Because I feel like people can often feel like that sometimes, you know what I mean? Like a young man or a young woman, and then you kind of get into a relationship or something, you settle down, and like it's like a thing in marriage, you know, like people kind of start to resent each other because maybe they didn't get to live out their 20s.
Kind of like you lose your absolute freedom.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
you don't necessarily make, like, you make your own decisions, but you have responsibilities.
Yeah, and you have somebody
you.
to kind of like, somebody that's going to tell you like, oh, maybe you shouldn't do this, or maybe you shouldn't do that. Well, we need this, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of plays into that, like human nature for the animals, you know?
Yeah.
I guess in this sense, it's a little more extreme, you know, he's fucking, because he has animal nature, like animal instincts, but for people, what the fuck are our animal instincts, you know what I mean? I don't know, you know what I mean? Just eat and have sex, I don't know,
Just
you
live.
know? Yeah.
It's a human instinct. Just to live.
It's just an interesting kind of an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, like he's pretty much changed. He's had to change what he was made for in a way.
Yeah.
And in a way, like he's coming to terms. He's not really scared of the wolf. And I actually like wrote this down because I hadn't thought about this before. I said that like he doesn't have a phobia of wolves. He has a fear of himself, because the wolf is the one animal in the movie that is Okay, so I think I got it here. I think that the dog can't choose to be like a human. He can't choose to go out of his instincts because maybe in the movie he's just not like capable of doing so. Where the other animals they were capable of doing so, and that's why they've adapted to the way that they are. That's why they're lawyers and demolition experts and all
real estate agents.
Yeah, real estate agents and newspaper men and all this crazy stuff, right? But and Mr. Fox has done the same thing. But the wolf, I believe he is capable of changing his ways. I believe he's capable of acting more. And again, I don't want to sound human-like because humans are animals, but he's acting more of what he was made for, essentially.
Yeah.
And but the wolf chooses not to do so. This is my interpretation of it. Obviously, this isn't something that's said in the movie, but this is the way that it kind of comes together for me. And I think Mr. Fox is afraid of doing that because he does love his family.
Yeah.
Even though he makes a lot of bad mistakes, he does want that life.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what he was born to do, and that's kind of why, in my opinion, he is really afraid of wolves, is because the wolf is what he kind of wishes that he could be.
Yeah.
And as a lone wolf, but he's like unfortunately just not able to do so without consequences. And I think that's kind of like why, among many other reasons, just the cinematic value of the scene, like just visually and then musically, what's going on there, like
the wolf with the fist up.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's that, which is again, that's another example of like how could the wolf know to do that?
That's what I was gonna say.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's why, again, I think that the wolf is capable of.
It seems he could act more human-like, but chooses to go with his animal instinct.
That's so crazy, man. I think the wolf is the Sigma and Mr. Fox is the Alpha.
You're onto some shit.
I think I am, dude.
You should tell Wes Anderson that.
I'm like, dude, you created a
Wes, you a Sigma, bro.
You created the Sigma.
That's
really interesting. It's really interesting. And I think you're kind of right about, like, with the dogs. I think it's almost like animals that interact with humans on, like, a daily basis are kind of what turned into this
docile.
Kind of forced into this role that they play.
Yeah.
Like the chickens and every animal really that you see. So yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think, now that I'm thinking about it, like in kind of the opposite direction, Rat is someone who acts. He's not. I mean, he's a rat, but he's not acting. He's acting like how he's supposed to be, but in a very kind of hyper intensive manner. Like he is like he's kind of a scumbag. He's the security for these humans who knows if he's actually their security.
Yeah.
He's probably just delusional, wants to drink. He's an alcoholic.
Probably just there to drink it.
Yeah, exactly, and he's willing to do anything it takes, even going against his animal kingdom to get what he wants. So he's kind of like on the opposite end of the wolf, whereas the wolf has chosen to be primitive for his own sake. The rat has shown to be primitive, but like for a wrong reason,
Yeah.
or for an evil reason.
What a bad guy.
Yeah, and it's weird, like because I remember not liking that he was only in the movie for like 2 scenes, but
my first watch I was like that too. Yeah.
But on this watch, it cemented like I love that he's only in it for 2 scenes because the 2 scenes are like so impactful. And even like the joke that Mr. Fox makes kind of like bothered me, but then
what joke?
when he's like he's just like a rat in the back of a Chinese restaurant. But on this watch, it like made more sense to me because I was, again, another thing that I was confused by was when he kills Rat and then he feeds him like before he technically dies, he feeds him like this black shit on the ground.
Oh yeah.
And I never understood what that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I was like, is that? He said his secret cider, and I was like, okay, maybe that's like some secret cider. And then this watch, I realized, no, that's just some fucking shit on the ground. Yeah. And he's just
Fox the fucking dickhead.
Yeah. Okay, but
it's like a moment of bliss for the rat. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He would have taken anything.
Yeah, he doesn't even know like what he's drinking because he's like just obsessed with this bullshit, pretty much.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that was like really interesting because there's like this whole like there's like another thing about like you could go into like alcoholism maybe or addiction that this guy's like kind of going through,
Mhm.
and you know he's about to die, and then he wants the cider, and then he probably thought it was cider.
He probably did
because he was
yeah.
so like fucked up, and everything just kind of like worked
He
for
was-
me with the rap.
He was lucid dreaming.
It's like a mercy kill.
He was lucid dreaming.
Yeah. Like he gave him mercy in a sense. That,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
he gave him the last thing he wanted. It doesn't really matter if it wasn't literally it, because he thought it was it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. He was lucid dreaming, man.
I guess. Yeah, I think I guess we gotta kind of work our way backwards. So I think going into the waterfall scene. You know, just I want to talk about two things, but specifically with his wife. What's his wife's name?
Mrs. Fox.
Mrs. Fox. Felicity. We're gonna go with Mrs. Fox instead. Mrs. Fox. Like when she says, I think she says, "I love you, but I never should have married you."
Yeah.
Like, what do we like? Do we think that's too harsh? Do you think it's appropriate? Do you think it's what do you think about it? What do you think about it?
Okay. No.
I don't necessarily have any thoughts about it. I kind of have questions about it, really.
I think it's definitely like kind of a. I mean, how would you feel? You know, you feel you have a comfortable life. You know what I mean? And then like your partner chooses to kind of put you
Screw
at
it
risk
up.
so that they can live out their fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like maybe not fantasy, but you know what I mean. They get to live out whatever they want to do, and it literally not only fucks it up for you, but it fucks it up for like your whole community.
Mm.
So now everybody's looking at you like, you
Dickhead.
motherfuckers, man. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd be pretty mad too if my
I
girlfriend
would
did
too,
something
yeah.
like that. I'd be like, you blew up the neighborhood. Like that's fucked up, you know? Yeah, I'd be pretty upset
Mm-hmm.
if my girlfriend blew up the neighborhood.
Yeah, I guess I would too.
Yeah, so I think it's well deserved.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Man?
Mr. Man, definitely.
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr.
Okay,
Wonderful,
well, don't
yeah.
put that in the video.
Why not? You don't like that?
But Lil T is
You don't
okay.
like that title?
I'm in the one in it. What do you mean? Who cares about a random person?
Come on, Mr. Dubs.
Um,
Down there.
yeah, it makes sense. Why would she not
Get
be
that.
pissed? And
You know,
just fucked up everything.
I don't think that's necessarily the question. I mean, I think I mean like the repercussions after. I guess it kind of ties into what I was going to go into. But
Right.
you say first.
Okay, so from what I am gathering, you're pretty much from what I can tell, you're kind of conflicted because nothing comes out of that. Like
a
they
little
don't actually
bit.
go
Like,
away from each other.
That's the thing, though, is I wouldn't expect them to go away from each other because that's not necessarily like what love is. Like you don't just walk away after the biggest fight, you know. Like that's not necessarily what it is. So, but I guess I don't think Mr. Fox really faces many repercussions after that moment, other than losing his absolute freedom. But he kind of already lost it, and it wasn't really.
Yeah.
He was always gonna lose it.
I
It's
guess
not
it's
really
just
the
kinda
fault
true.
of his own.
No,
Well, I mean it is, but
no. See, this is where I think you're kind of like misreading the film because he goes from he lives in a hole, right,
Mhm.
and he doesn't want to live in a hole anymore. But foxes live in holes for a reason. That's
Yeah.
what his wife says, right? But it's still like the dirt. It's still like you can go out and see the sun. You can go out and hunt something if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
But by the end of the film, like the whole community is in sewers,
The sewer.
and you can see while it's like going downward, it's like everybody's having really a bad life at this point. Like
Mhm.
it's like one of the kids for one of the families is like, I'm hungry, and the
Yeah.
mom's like, oh, here's some water.
yeah.
And then one of them says that they need to get their tonsils removed. Someone's talking about, wanting to go back outside and all this kind of stuff. Like, he's kind of, and then even when you get into the Fox family, like, they're very unhappy, and they have to go back up and then into a supermarket
Mhm.
with, processed food,
Yeah.
and, they can't really go outside or anything.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that the film honestly ends pretty tragically.
Mm.
All of the animals at this point can't really go back to their animal
Right,
instincts.
I always think about that shit too, man. I'm like, what a fucked up way to live. They live in a
Yeah.
sewer and
Yeah.
then you have to eat all this processed shit for the rest of your life, man. It's fuck.
Mm.
I don't know.
Maybe it was like the Sprouts.
Oh yeah, yeah, with fucking stars on their apples.
Yeah, maybe on the Trader Joe's, you know.
They're fake. At least they get stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, you don't think that that's like repercussions or?
I guess I
Yeah,
didn't necessarily view it like that, but like repercussions for the whole community, I feel like is different than consequences for Mr. Fox's own actions. Like, I think, because I mean, he's still like, you still technically get a happy ending with family and community, you know. That's kind of what the end goal is, I think, for a lot of these like family movies. Is at the end of the day, if we have nothing, we have each other.
Yeah.
So they have nothing, they're in the sewer, they're eating the processed food, but they have each other. So like I understand that there's repercussions there, but Mr. Fox himself, I don't think he faced much consequence.
So like going back to the ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
He loves to do his toasts. He loves to get on a stand and talk in front of everybody and rile up the crowd and all this silly stuff, right? But in the end, like my on this watch especially, like I really felt like in a way he's being delusional for his family's sake. And I don't know if you can think of any repercussions for him greater than that, than having to lie to his own family and say like these things that are obviously not good and try to make something good out of them.
Yeah.
I think that's something that goes directly against Mr. Fox's character, and especially with the last line, he was like, "Let's lift our boxes to our survival." He's not saying to our prosperity.
Yeah.
He's saying to our survival. Because how many generations can they all really live like that for?
Yeah.
In my opinion, the movie is like, that ending is very grim. It is, and it's kind of him coming to terms with it. And yeah, it ends with like a dance party at the end, right? But again, I just feel like that's sort of making light out of the situation. And Mr. Fox is probably he's the one where it's like he knows that this isn't right, and that this was the wrong thing to happen, but there's nothing he can do about it at this point.
Yeah.
And not to mention he loses his tail, which is sort of like his own form of dignity.
It's like paperclip tail.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, they say my tail has to be dry cleaned once a month.
Yeah.
It's detachable. Like, I don't know. I read the ending as very grim, and also like, I mean, did you want him to get like clapped or something? Like,
no, I didn't. But like, you don't necessarily spend time as like a. Well, I guess that's not true. Because I was gonna say you don't necessarily spend time with his family being upset with him, but that's not really true. I guess I mean with him realizing how upset they are with him, how upset everyone is with him. Because he goes off after the waterfall. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna go give myself up," and then he kind of just comes back and he kind of saves the day. And like you're right, that's when we get into the grim ending of them living in the sewers and their survival rather than their prosperity. But again, that just feels like a community. Well, I get what you're saying though, because it is a community consequence that he caused. But since he's the one that really realizes the extent of what this consequence is, then he's in the most despair. So I get what you're saying. I didn't expect him to die, but I guess I felt him to feel more bad. But I see that you're saying is he does, but he has to act delusional for the rest of the community. So I get that. That's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, so like, this is probably, I mean, to me, this, like, the reason why the film, like, ends so well and why the film works so well is because, Wes Anderson, he's operating in the family film format in a way that's digestible for families, but also it's using that framing as its own device to tell the story, because you couldn't have that ending without the family dynamic being there, without that dance part at the end.
For sure.
Which to me is delusional.
Yeah.
Is at least a bit. I mean, I'm not saying that it's completely like,
like they're gonna die the next day.
With those fucking videos where it's like, oh, like this is actually really dark and this Disney movie. No, obviously they're happy together, but there's something that is like just not quite right.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it wouldn't be able to be portrayed in this way as subtly if it wasn't for the way that the movie, is a PG animated family movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why the ending works really well for me, because it shows, consequences and a dark story, but in a way that's not typical.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could have easily had him sacrifice himself at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it'd be this like big moment,
There you go.
and he makes this like witty speech, right? But it's like, to me, what the film does is a lot more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I do agree. I wouldn't want that big sacrifice, because I think that would kind of play into him being fantastic for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that'd be worse for the film. But I think I just expected him to be a little more upset about it. And it's not that he's not upset about it. It's just that the film keeps moving. So like he has to go back to save Ash, or right? He
Yeah,
has to save
Ash.
Ash.
Christopherson.
Oh,
So he has to go back. No, it's Ash when the rat is taking him.
Oh, right,
He calls
right,
out.
yeah.
So he has to go back immediately. So I guess I just mean within that time frame, I would have expected him to kind of not face his feelings more, but just feel his feelings more. But I understand that the movie is moving fast in that kind of sense. And I don't mean that it's rushed, but I just mean that it's still going. And then it kind of goes into... I'm glad it doesn't go into that big sacrifice and it takes this ending instead. So I would agree with that. Very interesting, honestly. I'd really like to rewatch it with that in mind, because that is a different perspective than I had for sure.
Yeah, man. Fucked up ending.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think of any.
You know what scene is really funny?
Which one?
When where they're on the third heist, or no, it might be the second one. I don't remember, but Ash is with them.
Just the third one.
It's the third one when when he's following them.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what are you doing? Like, go back to your room. And he's like, no, I want to go with you guys. And he's like, 1, 2, 3, go. And he has to like, he gets
Oh,
mad,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
That shit's so funny, man.
1, 2, 3.
And he's like, who took them off? Like, how do you find out?
And then
That shit was
Christopherson
funny.
goes, yeah.
Yeah, then Christopherson is there.
You know, I think the scene where when Christopherson is like he's getting ready for bed or whatever, and Ash is in his top bunk, they're like bickering back. Well, Ash is
Just
bickering
Ash,
at
yeah.
Christopherson, but like, and then Christopherson goes under and he starts sobbing, and then like Ash hears him, and like it's not that like he wants to make him feel better, but like as a kid would, he just goes to go do something, and then Christopherson joins him. Like it's such
Yeah.
a kid dynamic.
Yeah.
Is that like there's this kid crying, so another kid goes to do something, something completely different.
Yeah.
Well, he does try to make him feel better, I think.
He plays the train. Like I don't think. I
mean,
do
I
think
think
he's
it is,
actively
yeah.
trying to make him feel better, but
Okay.
I think as a kid would, he's not gonna be like, "Hey, do you want to talk about
Right,
this?"
right,
You know?
yeah,
He's
yeah.
acting
I
like
see
a
what you're
kid.
saying.
He's like, "I'm gonna try to entertain," and it works. Like Christopherson gets up, so I really like that. Honestly, that's like one of my favorite scenes in the film.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that's-
then like afterwards, you see that side of the house, and the
Yeah.
train passes by, the
Mhm.
real train.
I think I have just a lot of favorite moments rather than like scenes. Like I like that moment with Ash when he kind of tells him to like cuss off or whatever. I think that's really funny. There's like another scene. I was thinking about it yesterday, and I was like, dude, I'm like that squirrel when they're moving in, and the squirrel's telling him about the electricity. And
Oh,
this
yeah,
needs to go
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and that needs to go there.
You
And
put that
then-
over there. All right.
and then he's
the
like,
refrigerator leg's not here.
yeah. And I was like, dude, that's what I do every goddamn day. I'm like the squirrel. I like that one. I really like the Candice Lupus scene. I've always just thought that scene was just really funny.
Yeah.
And then the one where he's fighting the rat, and
The first time, or the second time.
the first time, and he's talking about how Mrs. Fox used to be the town
Oh, yeah.
tart.
Oh,
yeah.
And then like Kylie's like the town tart.
Yeah.
I think that he's like,
Like,
"Whoa."
let's not have a double standard here.
Yeah, that shit is so funny.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. What about you? Was it the wolf scene or
Yeah, I mean the whole movie. Like I could just,
home movie's favorite
I
scene?
could watch. I literally, it's one of those movies. Like I don't really like rewatching movies close to each other, but like this is one where.
Comfort movie.
Because it almost
Well,
feels,
it's
because
just
it's
like-
like there's only so much time, and it's like I really want to see more things.
Makes
You know?
sense.
Like,
Makes
I want to
sense.
see as much as I can instead of just rewatching the same few things.
Yeah.
But with this is a rare exception where, yeah, like I could just
It's a good ass movie.
I have thought about like when there was one time where finished watching it, and I was like,
I'm gonna watch it again.
I should watch this shit again. I don't think I
That's
did
why just
because
put it again.
I'm never like I'm probably never gonna be able to do that. But
Yeah.
probably like a few days after I watched it. You know,
Yeah.
So. Yeah, like the wolf scene is definitely my favorite, but every scene is I remember every scene
Yeah.
in this movie like so well. Yeah, it's just one of my favorite films
Mhm.
of all time. And I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, like it wasn't when I first saw it, but there was something there where it just was something that's just so rewatchable, something that just
Really is, man.
really
Such a
intrigued
nice
me. And
So comforting.
yeah, and
Really
you know
is a
what?
comfort
That's
movie.
something where it's
Oh.
like I kind of was thinking when I was watching it this time. I was like, you know, this movie's it's kind of disguised as like a comforting movie.
Yeah.
Like in a way, it's because it's the perfect thing where it's like the color palette and the beautiful
so
stop motion
warm.
animation, and it's so warm, and the
Funny
and the
and-
'60s music and the Beach
Yeah.
Boys and all this like. But in reality, like there's something more human and there's something more like real underneath.
So serious.
beneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's
Yeah.
not, it's really not like this escape from reality that so many animated movies, so many American movies kind of tend to fall into the pitfalls of.
Yeah.
Like it's a direct facing of reality, a direct facing of humanity and of life itself.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, and that's like, you know, something where it's just, that's why it speaks to me so much. And yeah, I love this movie, man.
What a cool movie.
That was kind of how I describe it. It's like it really, well, like a disguise is a great way to put it. Like it really embraces you, makes you feel very warm with everything around it. But like, it really makes you reflect on your own like insecurities through Mr. Fox. Like it is very much like and even society, kind of community, family.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot more underneath. You know, it really it embraces you and kind of whispers in your ear, kind of tells you what's wrong.
Like the witch.
Yeah,
Like
a
the
little
bitch.
bit. A little bit like the bitch.
Like the bitch.
It's very interesting. I really liked it. Yeah.
I think Mrs. Fox's paintings, like when she like paints like the thunderstorm over this like beautiful like horizon,
Yeah.
and this landscape. It's, like,
Yeah.
Even like this shot right here, like the
Well,
gray clouds, like just kind of like symbolize that. For me.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's so warm in the sky.
and there's something so like
What's it called? When they
Dark about it.
foretelling?
Foreshadow.
Foreshadow.
Yeah.
What about you, Caesar? Do you have any memorable
you, Jacob?
moments? Oh yeah, Jacob.
See,
Just because you know it's been a while, so
Yeah.
like, what scenes do you remember that really stick out to you?
The one that really clicked in my head is the painting scene right now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, where she's painting, probably like was it like a field or was it just where they live? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple times she did.
Yeah.
That scene, and then I think like the really iconic scene where he's saying like he's zoning out, he's saying we'll live in a hole and that they're poor.
Mhm.
That's pretty much all I can think of right now.
I think that fucking scene with Christopherson diving is hilarious.
And for some reason, I
Yeah.
vividly remember the rat.
Yeah.
I just do, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
The foe.
yeah.
Oh.
Defoe.
That and then don't they go? They sneak into someone's house and then they end up having to go through like their actual house, don't they?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when they're trying to steal the
Yeah.
tie back, and
Yeah.
then they find that little desserts.
Yeah.
That's the one where I'm
You-
like,
you know what I was gonna
where I'm
say?
like, they're so
There's-
small compared to the
Yes,
humans.
the cookies
Yeah.
are so little, but like for the humans, obviously, you know.
Like that's what I was talking about earlier. How them being like fucking so tiny compared to the humans. It was
I never
that
thought
scene.
about that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They're
the
really small for
the
them.
animals are very small compared
And
to humans.
I knew there was a scene that showed like the difference between the two, but I couldn't think of it at the moment. But it's that fucking.
It's really
scene.
just an animation thing, though. Like it's not. I don't necessarily think it's something to like
Nah, nah.
really think about.
It was just something I was talking about. Whatever I was talking about earlier, there's something I was
Blueberry?
talking about. Maybe the blueberry. It was something we touched on earlier, and I was talking about how small they were compared to the humans.
Mm.
I don't remember exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was like 30 minutes ago. I don't
I already
remember.
forgot.
I already
Fucking
forget.
fried.
Yeah, I'm fried. Cognitive dissonance, bro.
Guess so.
Yeah.
Really highly, man.
I'm really tapping in right now. Yeah.
What about is that it? Should we do ratings?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
All right. Want to go down the line? It's your favorite movie.
Well, no, I think we should. Let's
Your
end
favorite
off.
movie, Len?
Okay, come on.
Caesar, you remember rating you have?
Yeah.
I don't think
Jacob,
I've ever
I mean,
rated
Jacob.
Jacob.
it. I don't think I can rate it.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Well, like or
Jacob.
dislike?
It's for sure like.
I'm at a 4.5 out of 5.
I'm at a 5 out of 5. It's a good movie, man.
Good movie.
Might be in my top 10. I'll probably get buried.
Top 10, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah, 5 out of 5, of course. It's nice to have some mouthwash after that disgusting pile of shit that's Wolverine. Oh my god.
That disgusting
You know, one of
pile
the
of
worst movies
shit.
ever made to one of the best.
Fucking worst. You know what's crazy?
It feels good.
I went to go hang out with my cousin yesterday. We were skating and stuff, and he was like, "Did you watch Deadpool versus Wolverine?" I was like, "Yeah, I watched it." He's like, "One of the best Marvel movies." He was like 8 out of 10. He's like, "I love that movie." I was like, "I thought it was alright. Like I liked it, but I was like, I didn't think it was." And then that was it. But I was like, "Oh wow, very."
You should have showed him
The
what
podcast.
I said. Yeah,
I
what
should
I
have
said
been like,
on
I'm like, my best friend thinks you're stupid.
it. Oh my god.
I just thought it was funny because he was so like confident about it too. He's like, yeah, 8 out of 10, one of my favorite Marvel movies. I was like, oh, okay, all right, I like it.
You know?
Yeah, but for Fantastic Mr. Fox, yeah, one of my favorite movies. I don't really see that ever changing, to be honest. It's not one where it's ever waned. It's only gotten better every single time I see it.
Yeah.
And you know, there was a time where I watched it over and over and over again, and then I kind of took a little break from it for like 2 years. But I think I watched it twice this year so far, and yeah, it's just one of my favorites. I love everything about it.
Base.
That's about it.
Good ass movie. Peace.
Alright.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up then.
That's a wrap.
That's
on our
a
working
wrap.
title.
Hit that like and subscribe for us.
Damn it, man.
Comment what your favorite movie is.
No, I like that.
If you made it to the end, here's some extra context on our friend Jacob that turned into Caesar and will probably be Jacob and Caesar in the next episode.
Well, I have to introduce myself.
What's your fun
We all
fact?
Hell
Caesar?
yeah.
Oh my god.
Just
Bro.
say you're Jacob.
Actually, that would be fucking hilarious.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Jacob.
Like, this guy fucking changed.
Yeah.
He got glasses now.
Yeah, that's what's different. Went from Hawaiian to white.
Jacob's Hawaiian?
Yes.
I think that's a good one. That's a good way to go into it. Jacob's
perfect.
Hawaiian?
That is perfect. Yeah.
You told me he's not Mexican, bro.
He is.
Oh, okay.
He's Mexican, but his dad's from Hawaii.
Yeah, he's Hawaiian.
Mexican. Mexican Hawaiian.
He does have Hawaiian family, right? I remember him. He said that. Once.
Maybe. I
I
don't
think
know.
he said that
He
one.
said maybe.
I'm pretty sure he said that one.